Greetings, trend makers. Martin Retire Successful here in Uganda, and today I want to share this short episode of diabetic testimony from one Godfrey, Mr. Godfrey in Uganda. This gentleman was diagnosed with high sugar levels, diabetes, and it has really kept disturbing him. And he was challenged by his specialist doctor to take records, daily records, from the glucometer readings. So, as you can see from the screen, this was in April 2017. That's when they started these recordings, and they were daily recordings. So you can actually see figure 8.4, 7.6, 8.7. The highest figure I think here was 9.0. That is in April, second half of April to the first half of May. So this is when the diabetes was really challenging, and just having been diagnosed. And this is through the month of May. As you can see, still the highest here was I can see 8.4 again. I can see 8.8. I believe he was already receiving some medication in these months. So, but you can see it was still a bit challenging and high for him. Then May, this is May again, continued. May 24th, 2017, and we can see it being at 8.8, 8.8 several times, 8.9 right here, and eventually 9.8 as we started June. So he was still on medication after it had just been diagnosed. Then we go to June again. We find 9.1. Towards the second half of June, we see so many nines coming in, 9.3, 9.6, 9.4, then eventually 10. It was shooting high. And the second half of June, we see several nines, 9.7, 9.2, we see 8.7, and eventually there is even 11 somewhere, 11.9, 10 somewhere, 9.1, and 12.3. This was getting out of hand. And in July, we see more of the 10s, lots of 9s, 9.2, 9.2, 9.2, 9, 10, 8.8. It was worsening. The situation was worsening. So remember, being on medication, that is, I believe, Western medicine or from hospitals or pharmacies, but that is on the directions of his specialist doctor. And this gentleman was being charged quite some good money on every visit to the doctor. I think twice a week he was spending about 28 to 30, I think $25 to $30 around there. So that's July. You can see I think he introduced in something different in this month, and I can see at least there was no figure 9 in this particular month. I suppose his diet was well checked, and perhaps the medication he was using, maybe they had some changes. I am not sure about that. Then we see the month again, second half of July. We see it a bit controlled, and then into August, yes, but I see figure 8 coming up again, 8.8, 8.6, and 8.1 right here. So then in September, yes, I remember this gentleman came to us in September 2017. I think that was towards the end of September. Yeah. So here again it was a bit controlled, as you can see. The highest figure being I think 7.9, yeah, and that is September. So we received this man towards the end of September. That's when he was brought to our offices. I think that is when it had started shooting up again. So that was around, if I can recall well, between the 27th and 29th. That's when he was brought to us at the Phytoscience offices in Uganda. So basically, we consider that he started on the product um, in October. But I remember he appeared the day he appeared at office. That was the same day he received product, the first batch, and he paid for a package of 42 stem cell packets from Phytoscience. So immediately I issued him a few to start with, as we waited for the rest of the batch. So um, we have something right here. I think it was 27th, that day 27th. So this was the morning, reading 8.1, and then when we served him with the DS, you can see the evening reading was quite low, from 8.1 to 6.3 that evening. So then he started recording from there onwards, and you can see that the levels which were at 10 in the previous, on the 26th it was at 10.2, 25th 9.1. You can see it was really high. So 27th from 8.1 dropped to 6.3, and you can tell that from there onwards the figures started, normalizing and stabilizing. So you can see there was no more 10, no more 9, no more 8 into October, and then second half of October, you can see we had no more figure 8. It was 6.8, 5.3, 6.3, 6.1, and this is because of the stem cell that was added to his medication and that. Of course, with diabetes, I cannot tell what exactly happened on the 15th of October, but we see it shooting to 8.4. Perhaps he enjoyed something that day that forced his sugar levels to really, shoot up, or he skipped or something like that. So then we spread into the second half of October again. Uh, no evening medication. You can see sometimes he indicated in brackets why either it shot up or it was down. So you can see on this particular day he had no medication whatsoever, and in the medication is referring to the double stem cell in this particular time. Perhaps he had traveled without it, perhaps he was on a trip, something like that, and forgot. So several reasons, but you can see on the 19th when he resumed, it came to 5.9, and like that. You can see 8.9 again here, no evening medicine. You see, then 8.8, no evening medicine. 8.7, no evening medicine. So you can see whenever it shot up, there was a clear reason for that. So then we ended October and settled into November. So you can see it here. You can see the figures, no more 9s at least, and just two figures that went into 8.2 here, 8.2 there, like that. So November, I can say, was not a bad start for him, as you can see. Somebody who was already in 12 point something, 11, and so many days in those ranges in the previous months. So you can see November, we had 8.7 once, then 8.4, and eventually the rest were a little down with a few 8s there. And then November again, second half of November, you can see it now. I can say controlled. You see, 5.9, 7.3, 4.8, 7.4. Sometimes it would really go down. But you can see that all through the second half of November into December 2017, his sugar levels were really stabilizing. So this is December. In December, we only had 8.0. No, 8.0 here, and I can see 8.7. Of course, the reasons are already known for such shooting on certain days, but you can relatively compare these results to the former months. Before October, it was really, you can see there is a very, very huge benefit from the double stem cell. So, well, this gentleman was getting more and more excited. These results shocked his specialist doctor to the extent that, he connected his own child. The doctor had to connect his own child who was challenged with a disturbing condition. He was complaining that the child is not, his growth is stunted at some point. So he wanted us to serve the child with this stem cell that was really a huge breakthrough for this gentleman who was diabetic and spending a lot of money to the doctor. So basically, we can say the stem cell therapy, especially the organic stem cell therapy, is coming as a huge breakthrough for so many health disturbances and complications for our people in Africa. So we need to embrace it and, build it on. Let's share and get the word out, get the word moving. And at the end of the day, one's health is the most precious, to you. So let's talk to our loved ones, let's talk to our friends, let's talk to our bosses, let's talk to our fellow staff, colleagues, friends, and congregations, and get this word of the phytoscience stem cell, moving for the betterment of all our communities, countries, and our success financially. So thank you very much. I hope we have learned something new, and perhaps this can help somebody out there with the same condition. But please remember, the serving is strictly 1 sachet for somebody who is diabetic in a day, and on empty stomach with quite enough water. Say 2 to 3 glasses of water for the first 1 week. And as they monitor their levels, of course. So if you realize that that it is stabilizing after the first week or second week, then you can adjust to 2 sachets a day. But you have to regularly keep checking so that it doesn't go way beyond. And you have to be consistent with this product for, say, 3 to 4 months, so if you are diabetic. And please be very, very keen with your readings, and it would be good if you also take note of your daily readings. Thank you very much. Martin, Retire Successful, here with you. Be blessed.